What's up, guys? Rick from DFS On Demand here with the one and done preview for the Waste Management Phoenix Open. And we had a couple of bullet sweats last week. I thought we were going to finally break through and get our first win. Unfortunately, we were a week early on Justin Rose, who closed it out, but we did have a couple of good finishes. So in our two lineups last week, the one that we pick week to week, we had Jon Rahm, who finished T5. And in our season-long lineup, which is the one that we did a video on, and we have set that order for the entire year, we had Hideki, who finished T3. And I believe we were one of the pretty much few people who had Hideki. So if we look back at last week here for the Gups Corner one and done, here was the Farmers Insurance Open ownership. So Leishman and Woodland were the two most popular plays. So Leishman, Woodland, Rahm. So where did Leishman finish here? I know he made the cut. T43, so that was pretty much a waste. Woodland charged on Sunday, I believe. Yeah, finished T9. That's okay. And then Rahm, who we had T5. Okay, so, pretty big whiff for 538 people. And then you have to go all the way down here to get to Hideki. Only 43 out of 3,100 people used Hideki to get a T5. Pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So if we look at where we stand for the year, here's our standings. Again, this is out of 3,100 people. We have two lineups. Our best lineup is the one that we set before the season started, which we went Justin Thomas at the Sony, Jon Rahm at the Desert Classic, and Hideki at the Farmers Insurance. So this week, Hideki got us 411,000. That gives us 723,000. We are in 424th. And our lineup that we're picking weekly, we went JT, Justin Rose a week early, and then Jon Rahm. We'll probably be a week early on Rahm, too. He'll probably win it this week. To give us 388,000, and we are in 1330th. I'm pretty happy about that. That's not bad. Okay, we've got a couple 100,000 banked. We're doing much better than we did to start last year. I'll tell you that. So let's look at this week for who we're going to pick in the one that we're actually choosing. And if you go to the one and done model, very high on Justin Thomas and Jon Rahm, as it should be. Hideki's up here. Phil is up here. I would normally have played Justin Thomas in this spot. Just feels like a good spot for him. Unfortunately, I've already used him in both lineups, so we can't use him there. And actually, what I'm going to do here, stand by, because I want to pull up something here for you real quick. These are the key stats for TPC Scottsdale this week. I went over this in depth on the DFS video. If you're interested, go watch this. But the short story is putting has been a big deal here at Scottsdale, believe it or not, even though Woodland and Matsuyama have won the last three of these. And sticking with our strategy of trying to pick a stud as often as possible and a potentially low-owned stud or whatever. The guy that jumps out is Xander. So he's the only guy in the top tier of players this week that is gaining strokes putting for the season, 1.2 per round. So what I'm going to opt to do here is play Xander, and I think I'm going to get him pretty low. Right? Because you can play Rahm here, you can play JT, you can play Hideki, which a lot of guys... Hideki and Rahm are going to be big-time owned. You can play Woodland here. You could play Phil here. There's really a lot of options. So we're going to play Xander in our one lineup, in our weekly lineup. And then we have our first issue with our season-long lineup. So we earmarked Jordan Spieth for this tournament before the season started. Spoiler alert, Jordan Spieth's not playing this week. So teeing him up at the Waste Management Phoenix Open would be a bad idea. So I kind of sat here and I looked at this and I was like I don't know how I want to do this. I was trying to think, okay, can I just swap him with somebody? Or I can just reconstruct this whole thing. What I'm going to do, I think the path of least resistance and the one that I'm fairly happy with is I'm just going to swap Spieth and Woodland here. All right, so I'm just gonna. I had Woodland next week at the AT&T Pebble Beach. I'm just gonna use Woodland here at the Waste Management, and we'll plug in Spieth next week, who I assume is playing Pebble Beach. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm okay with this because Woodland's in a great spot here. He's your defending champion, who I think will garner a lot of ownership as well, but I don't think as much as a normal, guy playing as well as Woodland is, who has a second place at the Tournament of Champions, a top 10 last week, your defending champion, because he's already been used quite a bit. So he was used 400 times at the Farmers Insurance. He was the second highest owned golfer. And then at the Sony, he was the fourth highest owned golfer, 410 used him. So there's 800. There's a quarter of the field that can't use him. And then I imagine a lot are going to use Rahm and Hideki and every other option that they have here. So I'm okay taking Woodland. I don't think he's going to be uber chalk. I think he's going to be one of the 4 or 5 most owned golfers, but that's okay. So we're just going to take him. We're going to plug him in here, and we are going to go with here's our lineups for the year again. In our season long, we're going to go with Woodland. In our weekly, we are going to go with Xander, and I'm interested to hear who you're rolling out. So tweet me. It's at DFS On Demand, or leave a comment below. Talk soon. See ya.